Welcome to Diksha Online. Today our topic is ray optics and wave optics. Let us begin with the key points of ray optics. And we know that reflection and refraction are two important phenomena of light when light is described as a ray. And we can say that reflection and refraction are nothing but signs of image formation. And let us first of all understand the key points of reflection. There are two laws which are governed during this phenomena. First is the incident ray. Here in the diagram, AB is the incident ray, BC is the reflected ray, and BN is the normal to the surface of reflection at the point of incidence. These three, that is the incident ray, the normal, and the reflected ray, always are in the same plane. This is the first law. And second rule is that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, that is angle I is equal to angle R. Let us come to reflection through a plane mirror. What are the key points here? That size of the image is same as that of the object, and for a real object there will be virtual image, and for a virtual object there will be a real image. And third point is, for a fixed incident light ray, if the mirror is rotated through an angle theta, then the reflected ray turns through an angle 2 theta, double the angle. And in the same sense also. Now come to spherical mirrors. Paraxial rays are those rays which are making very small angle to the axis. In our discussion, we always consider paraxial ray, and we follow a sign convention also. And sign convention is nothing but a Cartesian, introducing a Cartesian coordinate system. And pole of the mirror is taken as the origin, and any distance measured in the direction of the incident rays is taken as positive. All distances are measured along the axis, and pole is taken as the origin, that is distances are measured from the pole of the mirror. Vertically up is taken as positive y axis. Mirror formula we know, 1 by f is equal to 1 by v plus 1 by u. F is x coordinate of the focus, u is x coordinate of the object, v is x coordinate of the image. And this is valid for paraxial rays. And transverse magnification, that is height of image by height of object, in case of spherical mirror is minus v by u. Now come to refraction at a plane surface. You know the phenomena is governed by Snell's law. In refraction, light is going from one medium to the other. That is the main point about this phenomena. Change of medium takes place. So due to change of medium, velocity of light changes. So therefore wavelength of the light will also change. Frequency does not change in this phenomena, because frequency is the property of the source, not the property of the medium in which light is traveling. According to Snell's law, the rule is that sine of angle of incidence and sine of angle of refraction, this ratio is always a constant, which is called the refractive index of the medium with respect to the other. And deviation is I minus R. Apparent depth is given by this, we can write it like this: real depth by mu relative. Let us write like this, and mu relative let us take as This interpretation of mu relative will solve all our problem. Critical angle and total internal reflection, that is, if the ray is going from denser medium to rarer, and we obviously it will be bending away from the normal, so therefore there will be a certain angle for which angle of refraction will become 90 degree here. So that angle of incidence is called critical angle, because if we increase the angle of incidence further, the rays will return back to the same medium, and if returned back to the same medium, phenomena will be reflection of light. Phenomena therefore is called total internal reflection. And this critical angle can be given by sin inverse nr by ni. We come to the prism. This I is angle of incidence and I dash is angle of emergence through the prism. Del is the angle of deviation. So for a prism, angle of deviation is given by I plus I dash, that is angle of incidence plus angle of emergence, minus R plus R dash, that is R1 plus R2, and R1 plus R2 is equal to A from the geometry of the figure. So del we can write is and variation of this del versus angle of incidence graph is an important graph, and we see that there is a unique angle of incidence for which the deviation will be minimum, and for maximum deviation there are two possible angles of incidence, and based on this the refractive index of the material of the prism is given by this formula, sin of A plus delta m by 2 divided by sin of A by 2. And when minimum deviation is taking place, ray will be travelling symmetrically through the prism, and ray of light inside the prism will be parallel to the base of the prism. And for a thin prism, deviation can be given by n minus 1 into A, dispersion. Now come to another very important phenomena of light, angular splitting of a ray of white light into a number of components when it is refracted in a medium other than air is called dispersion of light. Angle of dispersion is del V minus violet ray is deviated the maximum because mu for violet is maximum, and deviation of red is minimum. And dispersive power is defined as angular dispersion divided by deviation of the mean ray. Mean ray is yellow ray. Its deviation is somewhere in between violet and red. So that is why it is called mean ray. And according to definition, it will be mu v minus mu r divided by mu I minus 1, and n, that is the refractive index of yellow color, can be taken as average of the two at the two extremes, that is violet and red. Rainbow is a natural example of dispersion of white light by water droplets in the atmosphere. The order of the colors in primary rainbow is red outside and violet inside, and order of colors in a secondary rainbow is reversed. Scattering of light by air molecules, according to Lord Rayleigh, the intensity of the scattered light is given by, it is inversely proportional to lambda to the power 4. So lambda blue is less than lambda red. Accordingly, blue color is scattered the most and red the least. So that is why sky appears blue. At the time of sunset and sunrise, blue color is scattered the most and red color enters our eyes. So sunrise and sunsets appear red. Combination of two prisms, achromatic combination, that is, in this situation the reflecting angles of the prisms will be oppositely placed, and condition for this no deviation is nv minus nr into a is equal to nv dash minus n dash r is into a dash, and net mean deviation we can write like this: mu y minus, this is mu y, that is ny, yellow color, and omega del plus omega dash del dash is equal to 0. Omega and omega dash are dispersive powers of the two prisms, and del dash are their mean deviations. Refraction, this is refraction at spherical surfaces. Formula for this is mu2 by v minus mu1 by u is equal to mu2 minus mu1 by r, where u, v and r have their usual meanings, and mu2 and mu1 we can take this interpretation: mu2 is the refractive index of the medium in which the rays are entering, and mu1 is the refractive index of the medium from which the rays are coming. So that is the best interpretation of this. And lens formula is 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. This is called lens maker's formula. 1 by f is equal to mu minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2, and magnification is given by v by u. Human eye, image formation and accommodation. Maximum distance at which an object can be seen distinctly by the eye is infinity. In this situation, the eye will be in a relaxed situation. Eye is in a relaxed state and focal length of eye lens is maximum. When the object is near the eye lens, the muscles contract. This causes decrease in focal length of the lens, and the minimum distance up to which an eye can see clearly by the maximum possible contraction of ciliary muscles is called the least distance of distinct vision. For normal eye, this distance is 25 centimeter, denoted by capital D. And what are the common defects of eye and what is their correction? One is myopia or the short-sightedness. Myopia is the defect of eye in which a person can see only nearby objects but fails to see the far away objects distinctly. This defect is due to decrease in focal length of the eye lens, spreading of the eye sphere, far-sightedness or hypermetropia is the defect of eye in which a person can see only farther objects but fails to see the nearer objects. This defect is due to increase in focal length of the eye lens, contraction of the eye sphere. Due to these regions, the image of a nearby object is formed behind the retina. You can see in the figure, image is formed here behind the retina. So it becomes invisible. And correction is what? A convex lens will be used, so the image rays converge at the retina. There is one more defect, presbyopia. Eye lens loses its flexibility of changing the focal length. This defect may be eliminated by bifocal lenses. One more defect is astigmatism, the defect of eye in which horizontal and vertical objects at the same distance are not focused at the retina clearly. An optical instrument, the purpose of the optical instrument is to increase this visual angle. An optical instrument magnifies the angular size of the object, that is, increases that visual angle, and this angular magnification is the angular size theta dash of the final image produced by the instrument divided by the angular size theta by the normal eye, and this is a magnifying glass. Its magnification is given by this. To increase the angular magnification beyond that possible with a magnifying glass, additional converging lens will be included to pre-magnify the object before the magnifying glass. This is known as compound microscope. This is the figure. Two lenses will be used, and angular magnification will be given by this formula. And then we have a telescope to see the far away objects, that is astronomical telescope is used to see the heavenly bodies. So, it is magnification is f naught by Fe. F naught is the focal length of the objective, Fe is the focal length of the eyepiece. Eyepiece is the lens which is near to the eye. Now come to wave optics. If two coherent waves of intensity I1 and I2 superimpose, the resultant intensity is given by this. Phi is the phase difference between the two interfering waves. The condition for maxima is that optical path difference should be equal to n lambda, and for minima it should be given by this. Phase difference is always related to path difference according to this formula, that phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into the delta x, that is path difference. Young's double slit experiment is done to observe the phenomena of interference of light. In this experiment, this is small d, that is slit width is very small, and d is the distance of the screen from the double slit plane. Path difference can be written like this. For maxima, the path difference will be this, and y coordinate of the maxima will be given by this formula. Fringe width is d lambda by d, that is distance between two consecutive maxima or two consecutive minima. Displacement of the fringe pattern. If one of the slits is covered by a transparent slab of thickness t and refractive index mu, that changes the optical path difference. Therefore, the entire fringe pattern can be shifted, and the fringe shift is given by this formula, d by d into mu minus 1 into t. In case of interference, we can say that it is just redistribution of energy of the light, and intensity at any phase difference phi may be given by this formula. In Young's double slit experiment, to make the pattern visible, we keep the intensities of the two interfering waves equal. Here it is taken equal to I naught. In case of a thin film, the optical path difference is 2 mu t cos r, which may be written equal to 2 mu t in case of near normal incidence of light, and the condition of maxima or minima is just we can say opposite to that of Young's double slit experiment. If the film is viewed through reflected light, But if the film is viewed through refracted light, the condition for maxima or minima will be the same as the double slit experiment. And diffraction due to a single slit, the position of the nth minima, this is the condition where A is width of the slit and half width is given by this, and this is the total linear width of the central maxima, and this is the intensity distribution in case of diffraction of light. You can see that the central maxima is the widest. Resolving power of an optical instrument is its ability to form distinct images of two neighboring objects. It is measured by the smallest angular separation between the two neighboring objects whose images are just seen distinctly formed by the optical instrument. The smallest distance is called limits of resolution. Smaller this limit, greater is the resolving power. So, this is the situation of just resolved. The two maximas of diffraction are just, this is not resolved. You will not be make any distinction between the 2 points. This is very well resolved, just overlapping, and this is just resolved case. So, for a spherical aperture, it is given by this. For microscope, this is given by lambda by 2n sin theta. N sin theta is called numerical aperture. Then this is what